Yes.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into round number 15 of the 2020 MotoOption SX Series live here on Start Your Systems. My name is Kellen Brauer again, bringing you guys the action this week from Foxborough. That's right, folks. We only have 3 rounds of this championship left to go, and we're going to kick it off tonight here with the second to last round of the 250 East Championship before we head to Vegas next week for another round of the Triple Crown. But that's right, we are in Foxborough tonight. Going to be a good night of racing. A lot to talk about, mainly this track, which has a lot of interesting kind of obstacles on it. It's an unusual track. It's one that we don't normally see that often, but we're going to take a look at that after we get a little look at our lap times and our championship standings right here. So starting it off, the 450 class, kind of your usual hitters up front. Braden Carter, who just clinched that West Championship last week in the showdown in Denver. 2 weeks ago in Denver, sitting third right now. So that's kind of a unique bit in there. Daniel Mills also towards the front. Qualifying times weren't counting for a little bit earlier on, so I think some of these may not be fully updated. As we look at the 250 East standings, close at the front, Eagland and his teammate Dickerson not only separated by a few tenths, but separated by a few points in this championship. It's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out tonight. For Zaka, St. Laurent, Tomic all up there. Tiberino just lost the red plate 2 weeks ago, but he is still in this championship hunt. Things will get interesting in this 250 class. Let's take a look at our 450 standings to start with, though. In this 450 division, it is Jeremy Siebel who has a lead on Jack Haley, but it is coming down every single week since about 3 weeks ago. Haley has been clawing points away from Siebel, has got this thing down to just 13 points now with 3 to go. Colt Mitchell still in it with a shot. He's only 23 points down, maybe a little bit too far and a little bit too late for Walter Gebhardt, who's won the last 3 times out that we've raced, but definitely close at the top with Haley and Siebel. This thing could come down to the wire between those guys, and we'll kind of focus in on that as we go racing in the 450 class. But the 250 class is where the action should be here tonight. Eagland, Dickerson, Tiberino, 5 points in it between them. They've all had the red plate at some point during this season, and right now things are very, very close at the front of this 250 East division. Even Logan Leitzel, not too far back either, 12 points down at Eagland. He's won some races this year as well. Of course, like some of his other rivals in this series, he's missed some main events as well, which has got him to this point, but definitely creating some interesting dynamics in both classes tonight that we're going to have to focus in on with these championships coming down to the wire. Obviously, the biggest one is the 450 championship, but these 250 guys, man, they have made things interesting all year long, and we're looking to see some more high-intensity action out of these 250 guys here tonight. So let's go ahead and hop in game, take a look at the track here tonight. As I said, a very interesting, weird, kind of strange track. Pretty standard end zone to end zone start here, and a big sweeper into the first corner, but after that is only really this one rhythm section and the whoop section that follows it, that follows any kind of normalcy. So there's going to be a couple different options that you'll see guys kind of busting through this rhythm section. You turn around right here and try to get a drive for this whoop section, get on top of these. They're a little bit peakier this week, and then you jump into this kind of raised corner here. You turn around, and then a lot of back and forth across the start straight this week. Not a lot of rhythm sections, a lot more kind of high-speed straightaways. Got a little run across the start here, turn it around, a little double, back across the start. You can see it on the screen here. Double into that next corner, you U-turn, hit a wall jump, and then come back across the starting line again for a third time before the finish line jump leads you into a small double, U-turn, and a little pop triple before another U-turn back onto the start straight. So if anything, this track is going to provide a lot of opportunity for passing tonight, because block passing will be aplenty with these bowl corners everywhere on the track. There's hardly there's 0 90-degree turns on this track. There's a couple sweeping corners. Obviously, the one after the whoop section with the little raised corner isn't a full 180, and then the one before the finish line jump also is not a full 180-degree turn, but it's very close. I would say it's probably in the range of like a 150-degree turn, somewhere in that area. So this is going to be interesting to watch how the actual race plays out with this strange configuration. I was actually going to be curious to see how it raced in real life if we got a chance to do it. Obviously still on hiatus from real life racing due to the COVID-19 outbreak, but we're bringing you action here tonight in MX Simulator once again, back after a week off from the Easter break. And just wanted to give you guys a little update on where things are. We are definitely finishing this Supercross season, and as of right now, I've heard the plan is tentatively we'll be racing outdoors. I have not confirmed that. We're going to obviously kind of I say we, this is more Race Factor Gaming coming up with this, but they're going to play it off of what real life happens to do. As of right now, the real life national schedule, it was slated to start June 13th. Now sounds like it's being pushed back to June 20th is when we'll be racing in real life again. But this is all so tentative right now with this situation and fluid. So the Race Factory guys want to kind of key off of that and figure out how they want to run this outdoor national championship so that it is still authentic and replicates what we're seeing to some degree with the real series. But we'll see kind of how it goes when we get to the latter half of this season. We're still a couple weeks away from the finale of Supercross in the first place. So get through this series, and then we'll probably have some announcements maybe at Salt Lake in a couple weeks on what we can expect moving forward with the outdoor campaign. But again, so excited to bring you guys the action here tonight in Foxborough. Again, my name is Kellen Brauer here on Start Your Systems. Hopefully you guys have tuned in with us all season long, but if you're new here tonight, I appreciate the tune in nonetheless. I know that over there at Racetracks Online, they've been really cool and allowing us to get some stuff posted up with sim-related content these last couple weeks as kind of the virtual world is taken over a little bit during this situation, and got a little bit more publicity out of that, so I know we have some new users. So I'll try to keep you guys as up to date on what this is and everything like that, but essentially all you need to know is this is a computer game called MX Simulator. It was released in 2008 officially, with a soft beta release in 2007, so it's quite old, and everything that you're watching right now is entirely community created. It's a community of people creating the racetracks, the bikes, the skins, the gear, the stadium, everything. It's all community created. It has nothing to do with the game creator anymore at this point, other than the physical aspect of the game and how to play it. But we've been at it for a long time, and MotoOption Clothing, which has been a title sponsor of this series for 9 years running, has been with us for a long time here as well. So big shout out to them before we get our 15th round here started. 250 East Heat number 1 lined up on the gate. It's time to go racing, get those revs up, and drop the gate in Foxborough. All right, we are off and running, and it looks like a good start for the 45. He's going to get to the corner first, but he gets pushed wide by our red plate holder as Colby Eaglin will take the whole shot. And wouldn't you know it, 4th in the championship standings. The number 18 of Logan Leitzel settles in right behind him, so our 2 championship contenders in this one. But they get together in the second turn, and Tiberino on the 77 is going to try to squeeze through and take that race lead away. Tiberino, last time out at Denver, he coughed up the points lead in the showdown with a 7th place finish after Eaglin was able to pick up the main event win there and take the red plate here into East Rutherford. With only 2 rounds remaining in this series, every single point counts right here, and Eaglin, of course, going to want to make the most of it. Off to a good start. And despite a small hiccup there with Logan Leitzel, going to lead us through on lap number 1. Right behind him is Ethan Gerst on the 260, Jonathan Hughes up here, Kyle Carter, Logan Leitzel, Dominic Tiberino, Lewis Williams, Matt Model, all towards the front end of the field here as everybody tries to get settled in. And again, you'll see this very odd layout of a racetrack. This was not Race Factor Gaming design. This is off of the blueprint that was going to be used for the real-life Foxborough Supercross. And these guys just replicated the racetrack. So, very interesting, though. We're going to see, do these guys have any options that they can use? Is anything going to be done different? Obviously, right here, kind of the same story. You get on the gas, you come across the start straight, double into this turn, but will we see some guys maybe tripling right here? We do, actually. Eaglin's going to go 3-1 into this and launch across the start line. So that's a new development right there. We'll see kind of how the night progresses and whether guys think getting 2-2 and onto the ground to go across the start straight with full momentum is better than tripling and then launching the single, which keeps you floating in the air and not having a lot of power onto the ground for a very long time. 2 different mindsets to attack that section tonight. But it is Eaglin out front. Ethan Gerst settling into second. Logan Leitzel's moved into third. And Tiberino now in fourth. So our championship contenders all at the front of the field. And we'll see in that second 250 East Heat race, actually, Isaiah Dickerson, the defending champion in this series, should be in that one. Maybe these guys have already cracked the code. We saw a lot of times earlier in the season, in fact, 3 straight weeks earlier in this season for these 250 East guys, Red plate holder missing the main event. It was a very odd situation. Leitzel was one of those that fell victim. Eagland, Dickerson, all those guys found ways to miss the main events on respective weeks. Leitzel seems to have kind of come full circle here. He's riding strong. Gerst on the 260 swapmotolive.com ride. Really good start to his night up here in second, about halfway through this heat race. Through the whoops he goes. Again, not a lot of separation on this track. Going to be a kind of night that we'll see who can make the least amount of mistakes, it seems like. You just keep it on two wheels, you run some consistent lap times, you'll probably find yourself in a good position by the time the checker flag waves. But it also might be a situation where if there's a couple people out front that are close together, you might need to push that little extra envelope to perhaps make a pass, or at least let your competitors think about you back there, because right now, nothing gained right now on Eagland out front. Pulling away ever so slowly, lap after lap. Got his gap out to about 3 seconds now by the looks of it on lap number 5. Hopping the on-off there at the end of the rhythm lane. So Eagland out front, Gerst second. Leitzel is sitting in third, but he just went down at the end of the whoops. So Logan Leitzel on the ground. That's going to give Tiberino the spot, but then Tiberino jumps on his back and goes down himself. So Lewis Williams goes through, as does Tim Friedrichs and Chase Donovan before Leitzel and Tiberino get up behind him. So that's going to be 6 and 7 for Leitzel and Donovan, respectively. Crossover maneuver there on the inside for Donovan. That's another line that might develop later on. We'll see guys taking that inside, digging that rut out a little bit, because there's a wall jump after that. So you don't need to go to the outside berm to hit any big jump or carry momentum or anything like that, because momentum comes to a complete stop after that on the little wall jump there. Leitzel able to move around Donovan, trying to go after Williams, but he goes 12 o'clock boys on us. Loops out and down he goes. So Leitzel's going to drop back down to 7th, it looks like, as he loses a position to Cooper Hunt on the 304 for LastMX.com ride. Oh, and that was Lewis Williams down on the 193. Jonathan Hughes on the 45. A little further back, I believe he's in 8th right now, and he is. Frzaka coming through in 9th. Frzaka now ahead of Donovan, and that may have actually moved him up to, no, he's still in 9th, so Donovan outside looking in. This is the battle for the final transfer spot right here. Frzaka trying to settle in behind these guys and make something happen. Oh, might have a move down the inside, but he gets together there with Hughes, and Donovan's able to split the gap. Matt Model a little further back here, and then Donovan goes down at the end of the whoop, so he coughed it up again. And these guys just continuing to yo-yo positions. Nobody can quite figure it out just yet. So white flag is waving though for Eaglet out front. I feel like it's amazing to me how many times I have to tell you guys that I know when the frame rate is bad. You don't have to spam chat. Like, I know. I get it. I know the frame rate's bad. I could fix it right now and just not watch the race at all, or maybe I could give these guys a little bit of airtime because I'm also recording this at the exact same time, so I can upload that file separately later on. Either way, Eagland's going to bring us down to the checkered flag right now and win 250 EC number 1. Ethan Gerst looks like he's going to pick up 2nd. Does so nicely with a wheelie to the line here. 3rd place looks like it's going to be Tiberino. 4th, Leitzel. 5th, Friedrichs. But Friedrichs is down. Let's see, does he get up in 5th still? And he looks like he still is, actually. So Hughes, Hunt, Donovan, and Frizaka look to be in the transfer spots right now. Frizaka, we're going to wait and see if he can hang on, or can Matt Model close this thing down, and then I'm going to go to try to fix my internet really fast. And Frizaka will hang on, so if you guys give me just a quick second, I'll be right back. We're going to try to get this fixed up. We are back, folks. Sorry about that. I believe we are now set and good to go from here. Just did an internet test speed, and my upload is plenty fine now. So apparently just getting throttled as per usual by my terrible internet provider. If you don't want good internet service, go to spectrum.com today, get yourself a package, hate everything about it on repeat, just like Control C, Control V, hating everything about that package. So eventually I'll get tired of it, probably call my local government and ask them why Google Fiber isn't in my neighborhood, and then we'll go from there. All right, well, let's jump back in game. Take a look at what's going on. And hopefully we are good to go for the rest of the evening. I will definitely be putting these two files together, so don't you worry about that, folks of the YouTube world that are like, the heck? Why do I have to look at two streams? No, you don't. I have all the recordings saved. I don't have Xfinity available here, unfortunately, Michael. I don't even think I have Comcast. I think our two options are Spectrum and AT&T, and they are both garbage. So, back racing here in Foxborough. We should have 250 East. Heat number 1 should be coming up first. I was trying to load back into the server and ran out of virtual memory. I'm sorry. We already did 250 East heat number 1. My mind is all jumbled. 250 East heat number 2 is coming up next. Heat 1 just happened. Some of you guys may have seen it. I'm not sure how laggy it was for you. I just know that the frame rate was skipping a little bit. Well, I mean, if you're watching the recording back, you're not going to have that issue. But anyway, some of you may have seen it. Some of you may have not seen it. I'm not sure. But that heat race was eventually won by Colby Eagland, and our championship contenders of Logan Leitzel and Dominic Tiberino. My mind is so jumbled right now. All went through in that heat race as well. So our championship contenders from heat number 1 are in, and our championship contender, contender in heat number 2 coming up right now should be Isaiah Dickerson, the defending champion. Good to see people hopping over again. I apologize for the internet issues. I guess this is just a lesson in my own right that every single time that I would like to stream this event, I should just reset my internet before I start. Because it's probably been about 3 times from 15 this year that I've had to start the event and then go unplug and replug in my internet, and then my speeds are comparable to what I'm paying for, which is just awesome. You know, it's just so awesome to pay for something that doesn't work 90% of the time, so you have to just get it on a spoof rebound kick every single time. All right, one of these days I'll load in. One of these days, not every single person in game will scram their files. One of these days. All right, finally back in, and finally looks like we are going to be set to go. Or has this race already started? No, it definitely is not. These guys are just kind of hanging out. So, good to go. And 250 Supercross East Heat 2 lined up in the server. Actually, give me a quick second. All right, folks. It's getting nervous time for these 250 East boys. Only 2 more opportunities to make it in the main event this year. Are they going to happen? Right now, let's find out in Foxborough. As we are off and running, gate is down. Land rush to that first turn, 170 of Owen Hillman. Looks like he might get there first. So the 107 down the inside's got a good shot at it as well. But he tucks the front wheel, and timing gates are all messed up. Oh, big crash! Hillman, and I think that's Tomic. It is. Opposite sides of the world. One rider out of Great Britain, the other out of Australia. Down together, and it puts Sam Hawes into the lead. Sam Hawes on the 429 MYTCO, Mitco, I guess is how you pronounce that, into the lead on the privateer bike. He gets in front of Dickerson, and down he goes. 15 seconds of fame. Great stuff, Sam Hawes out front, but Isaiah Dickerson takes over the lead here. He's in front of Dakota French. Dakota French here on the 117. We got Simone Santini, Nate Tunnell. Sam Hawes is still back here alongside the 55 of Trent Shepard, Neil Fitzpatrick, and then Tyron Tomic, who was down in that first rhythm lane. Billy Kunitz alongside Owen Hillman, who was also down with Tomic. A lot of different things going on here. Hillman a little short there on that jump, and we also had a rider down. That was Neil Fitzpatrick on the number 61. And Isaiah Dickerson, I think, just went down. He did. Isaiah Dickerson down on the ground. He's back to 9th, and now he's actually back to 10th. Fitzpatrick goes into the final transfer spot, but he's going to get it right back. He goes around the outside of Trent Shepard, who was down in that corner, and Dickerson back into the bubble position for now. Dangerous stuff. Dickerson does not want to be another statistic in this series. Another guy in the midst of a championship fight to miss the main event. That has happened so frequently in this 250 East division. Will it happen again, or can Dickerson kick the habit? Right now he's in a position to make the main event, but that is not a guarantee, especially at the heightened level that this series reaches every year, it seems like. Dickerson trying to close up on Fitzpatrick, and he goes down again. That will cost him a transfer spot. Shepard goes by. St. Laurent on the 86 goes by, and Dickerson might lose another position here as he's going to lose almost 2 spots. Tyson Craig in there. Who else we got? We got Jonathan Alexander on the 255, and Dickerson starting to go maybe in a little bit of panic mode here as we approach the halfway point of this heat race, and he's still not in a transfer position. Unbelievable. So Alexander on the 255 is in 10th right now, which puts Dickerson in 11th. Again, he's got Tyson Craig right behind him. St. Laurent up the road a little ways. Just made the move on Trent Shepard into 8th, which puts Shepard back into the 9 spot. Oh, and then we got some riders down. That was Hillman. Hillman was down with Tunnell off the track, and that will give Dickerson a transfer spot. I think he just moved up to 8th, so he just made a lot of positions up right there. But this section kind of been biting Dickerson. He just can't seem to get the groove going through here. Finally kind of figures it out there, and I correct myself. He's actually running at 9th right now, but he's trying to go into 8th. Oh, but he's going to go down! Oh, he's facing backwards, and that actually took Tyson Craig down trying to avoid him, and then I believe that was Nate Tunnell who also went down. Dickerson catches a break there as a couple guys go down into his misfortune, but he is going to get up in 10th here. Owen Hillman goes into the final transfer spot. All right, so let's reset things here for just a minute. It is Dakota French out front on the 117 in his return to racing on the BSR machine. Interesting to see him back out here. Tyron Tomic, rider out of Australia, I believe, going for the move. It's a nice inside groove there on landing. 53 down in the background. That's Billy Kunitz. I'm sorry, that's 63 as the 61 of Fitzpatrick goes by. The 86 of St. Laurent is through. Here comes the 55 of Shepard and the 255 of Alexander as they're all tight in a little battle here. Up the inside goes Shepard on Kunitz on the 63. Down the inside comes Alexander on the 255. Kunitz squares him back off. They're going side by side on the wall jump. Who gets the drive to the other side of the track? It's Kunitz to the inside, blocking the line off on Alexander. So everybody trying to funnel into position here. Kunitz triple to the inside right there. Interesting maneuver. Doesn't actually lose him really any time. But Alexander might notice that next time by and really try to get that corner a little bit cleaner. None of these guys getting through this rhythm section very clean right now at all. And Owen Hillman's going to try to jump over him and take advantage as he goes down the inside of Alexander. We still see that Isaiah Dickerson is back there, but not in a transfer spot. He has not moved into 9th just yet, as Hillman trying to weave his way through now. Oh, and Alexander goes down. Alexander was down. Fitzpatrick goes through, and that puts Dickerson back onto the bubble. He is in 9th again. 9th spot for the defending champ, but he's alongside Fitzpatrick and makes the move. Isaiah Dickerson seems as though he has finally got the mojo flowing a little bit here and has moved his way up into a much more amicable position. Billy Kunitz up the road. Owen Hillman, Trent Shepard, William St. Laurent, Simone Santini, Dakota French, and Tyron Tomich now leading this thing on the Connect Visual 311. Tomich out front, trying to pick up his first heat race victory of the season. He's been awfully fast in what has been his rookie season so far. He's picked up this game awfully quickly. He's going to take the white flag right here. One more lap to go. See if he can hold this off from French behind him. And Santini. How about 3 triple-digit riders out front? So these are not your normal namesake riders in this series. They don't even have 2-digit numbers, which means they didn't race hardly at all last year, or if they did, they didn't score enough points to earn a 2-digit number. So good to see some fresh faces out towards the front, and Tomich gets ran into the Davalos bales. Down the inside goes Dakota French, and this is a tight-knit battle coming to the line here for this heat race victory. It's still anybody's race as Simone Santini now moves into 2nd. They're putting Sam Haas a lap down. Poor Haas, who was out front early on, now a lap down to the leaders already. But Dakota French, 1 turn to go, and in his return to racing tonight, he's going to go right to the top of the podium in the heat race. Dakota French takes the win in 250 East heat number 2. Looks like St. Laurent was able to get by for 2nd. A great charge for the Canadian to move up into that 2 spot. Tomich ends up 3rd. Hillman all the way up to 4th. And Dickerson, what a salvage ride there to end up in 5th after much of this race being outside of transfer. Santini, Fitzpatrick, Kunitz, and Alexander over the line. Get those transfer spots. Tyson Craig just misses out 1.3 seconds. Could come down to cuts there. Luke Magnetti, Mom Spaghetti, comes across 11th. We got Trent Shepard trying to come to the line. He was in transfer for a long time. He's going to end up 12th. Nate Tunnell looks like 13th is going to be all his. 14th for Nick Tomasunis. He'll be disappointed with that. 15th for Ethan Parks. And 16th behind him, Wade Finley. Everybody else a lap down behind that. And over the line they go. Cuts are in. Looks like it stayed relatively the same out front. Let's take a quick look. And yep, nothing changed with our leaders. Dakota French still classified as your winner. Let's take a look at who finished the lap down. It was Haas, first guy a lap down. Saulnier ends up 18th, 19th for Frank Jackson, 20th for Batchelet, and myself sitting on the starting gate in 21st in warm-up mode. And that was 250 East, heat number 2. All right, so 450 class coming up next. Good to see everybody hanging out in chat. 200 live viewers. Again, always really appreciate the support that we've had all year long. You guys are really, really awesome. And Maystert saying MYTCO is a team sponsored by a clothing brand. No idea if I'm saying it right, but cool to see clothing brand getting in here, helping out. Of course, MotoOption clothing, premier clothing brand in this game. Have been a huge supporter of this series long time, and back at it again, 9th year running, so big shout out to them. Luke201 in chat would like to know, how do I join these races? Well, it's very simple. If you own MX Simulator and you like racing online competitively, just head over to racefactorygaming.com. That is one word, racefactorygaming.com. You can sign up there. You can, if you've never raced before, you can race the novice class if you're not an advanced skill level, and that is a free series, but you can also race the many pay-for amateur series that they host in both the North America and European regions, as well as the Pro Series in both North America and European regions. And there's plenty of races to go around. There's races year-round that they do. Once Supercross is done here, they're not done here. They're going to continue doing what they're doing. So definitely check it out. Get involved. Good community of people. If you meet the right people, that is. Some people in this community like to take things a little far, but it's all right. Checking out chat, see what's going on. I know you have to pay, but how much? So I believe the going rate to race this series these days is 20,000 nobbies, which is like $25 or something like that. I could be wrong. I know it's somewhere in that range. As 450 heat number 1, they are working on their parade lap right now. Roxy's doing well. Maystert wants to tell me that it stands for Mark Your Territory Clothing. Interesting, huh? Didn't know that. All right, so 450 heat number 1. Who's going to take the victory in this one? Lot of heavy hitters. Of course, we want to focus in on those championship contenders as we're coming down the stretch here. Jack Haley, Jeremy Siebel, Colt Mitchell, all still pretty within a range here of winning this championship. And I see that not only is Mitchell on the gate, Jeremy Siebold is also on the gate. He's lined up in between Brendan Carter and Jeremy Smith. It's 450 heat number 1, off and running here in Foxborough. Land rush into the turn 1, and it's going to be Carter down the inside on the 32. He will take the whole shot away from Gebhardt. Jeremy Smith is up there. Gebhardt, remember, has won the last 3 times out in this 450 division, so he's been having a really good streak of things lately. Jeremy Smith up there, like I said. Jeremy Siebel trying to get into the mix on the number 19 as everybody files in through the whoops at the end of the straightaway. Oh, Smith and Siebel together. Siebel trying to make a early attempt on a pass down the inside after the raised corner, and not sure, maybe Smith just didn't see him coming, or Siebel was thrown in a little bit too hard, but some contact there put Smith on the ground, and he is way back. That, in the meantime, allowed Robert Wilson and Chase Blakely, both BPC riders, here to get through into the 3 and 4 spots. Siebel back to 5th. Deering is now 6th. 7th, Devin Davis. 8th for Zoe Cross. 9th for Kevin Gonzalez, and right behind him is Sabrina Ritzler in 10th. So really close battling inside of the top 10. Of course, only 9 go through into the main event out of this one. So you want to be in this position or higher that Kevin Gonzalez is in, and anybody could throw this thing away. We've seen the 250 guys have some troubles in this whoop section as well as other parts of the racetrack. Devin Davis getting blocked there a little bit by Zoe Cross, and Forzeka got into the back of him. That allows Ritzler through into the 9 spot. Jeremy Smith picking himself up after his early fall there with Jeremy Siebel, finds himself in 10th. Let's go a little further back, make sure I'm not missing our heavy hitters, and I am. Colt Mitchell is in 16th right now. Entered the night's action, 23 points down in the championship. So he can't necessarily lose the championship entirely here tonight, but he definitely would put himself at a disadvantage by having to go to the LCQ and maybe start on the outside of the gate. So we'll have to keep an eye on where Mitchell's able to get up to and what kind of chaos ensues in front of him to perhaps help him get to those higher positions. And meanwhile, as his teammate Walter Gebhardt, who has been smooth as butter this entire last month, essentially. I'm sure he was one of the few people in this series not looking forward too much to that break that we had last week, because he was on an absolute tear coming into it, winning the last 3 in a row before it, picking up a really solid victory last time out in Denver a couple weeks back. Can he do it again tonight? Win 4 in a row? As we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, perhaps a little too late here for Gebhardt as he's over 40 points down in this championship. And with 3 rounds to go, 40-point deficit. Big one to make up for sure. But it seems, at least in his mind, he's not giving up until the final checkered flag waves. Behind him, Jeremy Siebel. It's been the model of consistency this year. Picked up a couple wins when they became available to him. But for the most part, just really has not had a bad race. Last week was one of the few blemishes, I feel like, on his record when he ended up 6th. But that was more or less just because of some late crashes. He was running inside of the top 5 towards the end. Had a few mishaps and ended up losing some spots late there. And what it did is definitely help Jack Haley claw some valuable points back as he finished up 2nd at Denver. All right, now Siebel doing what he can to go after Gebhardt in the lead. There's a close battle out front. Let's take a look at what this track looks like from the onboard perspective on the Panini Motorsports number 19 of Jeremy Siebel. Into the whoops. Again, really tall set of whoops this week. Short, but tall. Jump into that inside in the raised corner, then getting the power down to double into this corner. 450 guys here also tripling in here and then launching across the start straight. Almost clearing the entire thing to the other side. Landing to flat and then scrubbing that double into the corner. Siebel is really on the move right now. Going to take a look at lap times this time by. It is a 53-1 again. Siebel 53-3 Gebhardt. So Gebhardt raised his pace, but Siebel, man on a mission right now. So essentially, theoretically speaking, 3 of the 4 men who are really still alive for this championship have never won it before. Jack Haley, who is the defending champion, and sits 2nd in the standings as Gebhardt goes down with the lead. And that's going to give it over to Jeremy Siebel as the 19 goes to the front. But as I was saying, Haley, defending champion, only man in this top 4 who has won this championship in the past. Siebel, if he can hold on at the season's end here, it would be his first 450 Premier Class championship. 2-time 250 Supercross champion in his own right in this game. But would love to stamp his name on the trophy. A very, very short list of champions in the Premier Class in Supercross in this game. Brian Haskell, Tyson Fresquez, Byron Downen, Hunter Root, Alexis Leclerc, Jack Haley, and that's it. You want all the names of Supercross champions in this game? That is it. And right now, Jeremy Siebel is trying to make himself one of those men on that list. Of course, Tyson Fresquez won the title 4 times. Brian Haskell won it 2 times back in 2010 and 2011 in the inaugural seasons. Walter Gebhardt, Chase Blakely, Robert Wilson, and Devin Davis inside of the top 5 of this race. Sabrina Ritzler right behind Davis. And then Ash Deering coming up on the 20, trying to get into the mix. So let's actually try to find ourselves. Jeremy Smith is in 8th, and Colt Mitchell has now moved into 9th. He is in 9th. He is ahead of Benjamin Saves and Kevin Gonzalez, I should say. So he's in that final transfer spot as Gonzalez now moves into 10th. And this could get interesting before the end. Some of these guys, they don't care what championship fight you're in. If they can get into this race, they're going to do it at any cost necessary. It's Mitchell just trying everything he can to stay calm, cool, and collected while these 3 all battle up front. It's Jeremy Siebel with a corner to go. And the number 19 Panini Motorsports rider will take us down to the checkered flag here. 450 heat number 1 belongs to Jeremy Siebel as he takes the win. Gebhardt looks like he's got 2nd on lock. Blakely 3rd. Wilson 4th. Ritzler almost gets put to the ground. It's Deering that moves to 5th. Ritzler back to 6th. 7th for Devin Davis. Now 8th for Colt Mitchell and 9th for Gonzalez. So they each moved up a position. And Benjamin Saves, this might be a good one, as Saves is really close here. Couple turns to go for Gonzalez, a small bobble. I keep thinking Kevin. And I go to Frazaka, but it is Gonzalez who comes to the final corner and takes the checkered flag, comes across the line. 9th, Saves ends up 10th. 11th, Jeremy Smith. 12th was Jake Rose. 13th for Braden Carter. Carter just I don't know, as dominant as he is on a 250, he seems to fall apart on a 450. One wonders if he raced a 250 in this class, how he would fare. Peter Like, he'll come across in 15th. 16th for Jeremy Cohenauer. 17th will be Chris Channing. And he does so with a nice little wheelie across the line. There we go. Behind him, Simos, Plessinger, and Speck all called it quits in this one. And let's take a look if cuts change anything. Looks like Ritzler got around Deering on cuts for 5th. But that was it. Everybody else in the top 10 stayed the same. And it is confirmed. Jeremy Siebel, 450 heat number 1 winner at Foxborough. All right. Well, we're going to head into 450 heat number 2 coming up next. We should see defending champion Jack Haley in that one, of course. If you guys have any questions you'd like to ask in chat, now would be a great time to do it because I'm going to be loading in for the next minute or so. Again, so good to see everybody tuning in this late into the season. As you guys, I'm sure, are all aware, numbers tend to drop later in the season. But it's good to see that we still have just a lot of people hanging out, watching these races, having a good time. Hopefully you're enjoying it and having a good way to kind of keep your mind off of everything at the moment. I'm sure some people are, obviously struggling with the virus, but maybe also struggling financially as the situation becomes kind of a little bit more longer. And jobs have been lost, and yeah, tough times for sure. But if we can keep you entertained for a couple hours, I hope it's a good way of doing it. Really appreciate you guys again dropping by. I'm ready for turtle time. Sure. What do you get if you win the championship? Actually, I don't believe you get anything other than credit now for winning the championship, like credit towards another season. So if you win the championship, it basically pays for itself. But back in the day, you used to win a lot of stuff. There was full sets of gear up for sale, full set of custom graphics for your real life bike, like real gear, real graphics for your real bike. There was cash available at the MX Sim Cup a couple of years. I think it was only like $150, but it was still something for these guys. And I finished third, I think, or second in an Arena Cross series back in 2012 and got a $100 gift card to Motorsport, maybe? Something like that, and used it to buy myself a neck brace. So, yeah, you used to be able to win some stuff. Do you have any idea who the youngest racer is? So the youngest racer in this series is guaranteed to be 13 years old because you can't be any younger than that. The minimum age requirement to race Race Factory Gaming competition is 13. If you're younger than that, you can't race. And if you lie about your age, you get the kaboot. It boots you out of there, so. First person settings. You can get MX Simulator at mxsimulator.com. My first person settings look like this. 110 FOV, 1 for height, 25 for angle, and I have no gimbal, although I've wanted to change that for a little while now. How do you drop a donation? You can do it through Super Chat, and I don't have it set up right now, but there's a Streamlabs account that I have. If you go to streamlabs.com/startyoursystems, I believe it is, you can donate there. But you can also Super Chat on YouTube as well, and it's basically the same thing. What's the one thing you miss most about because of quarantine besides Supercross and A-Wood? Man. I mean, I miss riding. I wish I could go riding in real life right now. That definitely cut that back quite a bit. I just miss socializing with friends, like going out to dinner and kind of just hanging out around the town and stuff like that. Definitely kind of a bummer. But obviously people are in much worse situations than not being able to hang out with their friends. So I get it, and we'll all get through this together, folks. All right, 450 heat number 2 coming up next. Sorry I didn't answer all of your questions. Again, ask them after each race, and I should be able to answer them eventually. But we're going racing here. 450 heat number 2 off and running. Hubbard, 46, gets to the corner first through the inside, and he will get that whole shot. Jacob Hubbard, great starter. Never has any real skins on his bike. Just goes for the stock look with no side plate numbers. Not sure why that is, but he always does it. Jack Haley moves into second behind him. And Bryce Whelan on the 34 is also in the mix. And Haley's going to go down the inside and take the lead. Hubbard tucked the front wheel in that kind of tricky raised corner. It's kind of off camber on the inside, but just little lip on the outside to bank off of. So Haley to the front. Whelan goes to second. Hubbard drops to third. And Leclerc on the number 7. He's coming through in the 4 spot. So Haley comes across the line, leads lap number 1. Leaps lap number 1. Whelan right behind him in second. And Whelan, no slouch in this series. Former winner in this class and one of the fastest men on track every single week. Often his downfall is the crash bug a little bit, but he's got a good start out front right now, trying to get away with Haley. So Leclerc, he moves up into third now ahead of Hubbard. Gets a good drive through the whoops, and all these 450 guys seem to be taking the option to go left side in the whoops and then double to the inside and hit that little tiny rut that's going to develop into a much bigger one as we go on for the rest of the evening. Leclerc looking inside on Whelan, shows him a wheel. No pun intended, but bar to bar over the finish line jump. Leclerc is going to have the inside line here, and Whelan cuts back underneath. Let's see if Whelan shows him a wheel, proverbially, or does he just settle in behind the 7 here? These two are not teammates, though it may look like it. Different teams. Bryce Whelan on the BPC team, and Alexis Leclerc on the Arminus Jastakonis backed Rockstar Husky ride. And they're all trying to chase down this lead held by Jack Haley, the Jack Daniels Racing number 1. Getting himself off to a good start, and that's what I'm talking about right there. Leclerc cutting low in that corner. Look at, he actually, I think, opened up a small gap on Whelan. Be curious to know if he can work that line in the main event later on tonight. Maybe dig a rut out in there, and then it becomes the fast line, and nobody's used to taking it because everybody else jumping to the outside there. Claire and Whelan close together here. Dennis Fjellberg has moved up into 4th, ahead of Reed Young, Daniel Mills, Casey Ohlert, Joseph Pilsner, Tyler Lang, and Benny Landry all on a bit of a freight train right now. Not too far off the back of him, that looks to be Hunter Root, and it is. Told him last week why I don't have any of his skins, and he says he's running the Old Berry stuff, that I should have it. Well, I have a lot of the Old Berry stuff because I was on that team for a long time, but I just don't have his skins. Maybe I did delete some of it all entirely. I should have remembered that and downloaded his stuff. It's all over Benny Landry, who's in 10th. It's Lang, who's in the final transfer spot right now. All these guys really close together. And it is actually Landry who's starting to develop that inside line with Leclerc. Up and over the finish line jump they go. Oh, Lang peeks down the inside of Pilsner, makes a move. Pilsner trying to fight back, is not going to get the triple. Oh my goodness, his teammate almost runs into the back of him, and Landry will make that pass. So Pilsner unsuspectingly gets passed by Lang, can't get the triple, and then gets passed by his teammate, and that cost him a transfer spot. Now Pilsner is outside in the 10 position behind Benny Landry. Let's see if he can get it back as they're hopping through the whoops a little bit. Root right there lurking as well. And it is Landry on the 143, as I said, who's moved up to that final transfer spot, but goodness gracious, this is real tight racing right here. Landry using that inside line. Again, looks like it made up a little time. Didn't get the downside very cleanly, and then goes inside before the finish line jump. Really peculiar lines there, but it seems like they're not really losing him any time, or maybe not even gaining him any time. But look at inside here. Oh, that one's going to tuck his front wheel, and it gives his teammate Pilsner the final transfer spot back. So now Root moves up into the 10th spot, and he's going to try to go up after him. Of course, Hunter Root, former series champion. Down the inside of Pilsner, makes that pass into 9th. So Hunter Root on the number 330 machine, formerly number 2, and formerly number 5, now sits in the 9 spot. It's like Lang almost ran into the back of Reed Young right there. Daniel Mills, Casey Ohlert. Goodness, this could be anybody's position here. Ohlert running in 6th, 7th for Mills, as Mills now moves into 6th, 7th for Ohlert, 8th for Young, and I'm sorry, did all those one back. This is actually 8th for Lang and 9th for Root now. Let's go on board with Hunter Root and see what this looks like off the front of him. Look at this freight train at the bottom of the map in the upper right-hand corner, how close everything is. Root's going to make 2 passes. We had a rider down. He's going to go up to 7th. Might get passed back for 8th here. Now actually, looks like he's going to hold on 7th, and he has a little bit of internet issues there. He was lagging his way through the whoops there, and then cuts down the inside to move into 6th after the whoops. So Hunter Root on a charge has gotten around Reed Young and Tyler Lang in one foul swoop there. Now can he close up on the 66 of Ohlert? Daniel Mills trying to get away from this group out front. Mills has looked fast tonight. One of the fastest times in qualifying. Meanwhile, up front, Haley on the final lap of the race trying to hold off Leclerc. Gets a little out of shape in the whoops. And remember, Jack Haley, although he is only 13 points down in this championship as Leclerc goes down, Haley has not won a main event this year just yet. 14 rounds deep, still no main event wins, but he's still in it with a shot at this championship, and it's going to go a long way tonight, helping him get a good start in this main event and maybe get out front to try to pick up that first win of the season as he comes through in the last turn and takes the win in 450 heat number 2 at Foxborough. Alexis Leclerc, he's going to pick up 2nd as he holds off the BPC mounted number 34 Bryce Whelan. 4th should go to D Mills here on the Jack Daniels Racing number 31. Casey Ohlert, looks like he's got 5th. Hunter Root will end up 6th, 7th for Reed Young, 8th for Tyler Lang. And Adam Holm has squeaked into 9th. Kyle Carpenter and Jacob Hubbard are battling it out in the last turn. This might cost him a chance on cuts to make it, but Carpenter comes across 2.5 seconds down to Holm in 10th. Hubbard 11th. 12th for Pilsner. 13th was Wilcox. 14th Landry. 15th Jake Warden. And 16th Dennis Fjellberg. 17th was Spencer Turley in this one, who I always download his skins. Every single week I download Spencer Turley's packs, and his bikes never show up in game. Not sure why that is. Jay Turner, Charles Gable, and Tyler Schmidt outside looking in. All right, cuts are in. Number 27 got some cuts. It was Wilcox, but he's the only guy. He got .73 of cuts, and it didn't cost him a spot. So everything stays the same. Jack Haley confirmed 450 heat number 2 winner. The heat racing is now done here in Foxborough. Last Chance Qualifier is coming up. And again, if you guys have a question in chat you guys would like to ask me, anything I could answer for you or let you know about the game, life in general, be happy to answer it. Trying to keep you guys involved in the chat. James Jarrett wants to know who's the points leader now. In the 250 division by 2 points, it is Colby Eagland, and in the 450 division by 13 points, it is Jeremy Siebel. We saw both of them earlier on tonight. We'll see them in the main events later. And those are the points lead right now. Lap time check real quick. 53.6 Haley, 53.2 Leclerc, 53.5 Whelan, 54.1 Mills. Anybody else in the 53s? Nope. Everybody else actually at the 55. There's like 19 guys in the 55s right there for a best lap. Who has the most outdoor titles in MX Simulator? That is very easy. That is Jesse Mullins. He won 3 straight outdoor titles before being indefinitely banned back in 2018 now? Or was that last year in 19? I think it was 2018, Jesse Mullins. Key sharing, which is frowned upon, but he was also involved with a couple other things that we won't get into. And Mullins was eventually indefinitely banned from Race Director Gaming competition. So yeah, he has the most outdoor titles, but we don't see him race anymore, unfortunately. Spencer Turley usually uses no skin. Well, then why does he post in the skins thread every week if he's not going to use any skins? That doesn't make any sense. Kellen, any chance of getting an updated setup video for outdoors this year? I could do it, but you guys asked this question a lot. I actually haven't changed a single thing about my suspension setup since that last setup video I did. I still rock the same setup I had when I raced Supercross in 2017 in this game. So Yeah. Who has the... Wait. What's the next track? We're going to Vegas next week for the Triple Crown. What are the passwords for Pro Tracks? The password is available either in the Race Factory Gaming Discord, which you can link to through racefactorygaming.com, or you could just go to forum.mxsimulator.com, and if you go to tracks, where the track is downloadable, the password, sometimes it's right below the track that you downloaded, or it is 2 pages, it's on the last page where, you know, you click at the very bottom, it says like page 16 is the last page. Click there, and it shows the most recent password available to download the track. What's the buzz in the real moto world right now? Any return dates being talked about? Yeah, I mean, officially speaking, June 13th is the official return date of Nationals, but that sounds very tentative from what I'm hearing. But Nationals announced that that is going to be the date that they're planning on starting the National Championship, so that's what we're running with. Like, nothing has changed. Nobody has said anything definitively different yet, and that's kind of the status quo. Let's see. Are you surprised that no one has been able to quad off the one section? Quad off, like, what do they do? On, off, triple, quad over? Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure what you mean. Quad off. Let's see. Did I miss any questions? Thank you, Daniel Paz. I'm very excited to be a dad. Mullins got banned for key sharing, as I mentioned, which is very frowned upon. All right, 250 East, last chance qualifier. Last time that these guys are going to be on the gate by themselves. It's a showdown in a couple weeks, but oh, we got a red flag, red flag, red flag. Vegas is a West round, and Salt Lake City is a showdown round. All right, 250 East, last chance qualifier. Last time this season, these guys will have the opportunity to make it in without the threat of anybody else on the opposite coast lined up against them. It's time to go racing. We're off and running. Who's going to get the best jump? Looks like kind of more inside got a good start, but it's Copeland who gets to the corner first from the outside on the 35. Dylan Copeland takes over the lead. Dylan Burrell moves into second. Trent Shepard is in third. Darius Peterson right there alongside of him moves to third. And down the inside goes Thomas Sunis on the 507 to take over fourth in the process as everybody kind of gets hung up in the background. So Copeland out front. And early goings, anybody has an opportunity to get up there and battle with Copeland. Copeland going to lead lap number 1 though. On to lap number 2 we go. 5 minute plus 1 lap race, top 4 transfer. All other runners headed back to probably their bed because there's no semis out here. But we got a mistake there as Burrell hit the rear tire of Dylan Copeland and tucked the front wheel in the process. He lost a spot, and Darius Peterson goes 540ing off the racetrack. So it's Copeland from Shepard now. Shepard in front of Thomas Sunis, and Burrell goes down. He had just moved back into transfer and about to get lit up. He was about to get lit up there by Dominic Saulnier. So what the heck just happened? All right, so it's Copeland, Shepard, Thomas Sunis, and Matt Model now on the 101 has moved into the final transfer spot. John Heilman's back here, Tyson Craig, just a couple guys who are also regular main event guys in this East Championship. So over the line, Model trying to hold a position, Heilman trying to go after. Let's see if Heilman sizes something up here in these first couple rhythm sections before Tyson Craig has something to say about it. Matt Model, to his credit, defending the insides beautifully. Swings a little bit wider to get a run into this section. Maybe just playing it smart there so he didn't go down in front of these guys. Gets the on-off. Heilman gets into him, and somehow Model stays up, but it doesn't matter because Copeland was down, so Tyson Craig is going into the final transfer spot right now as he gets around Matt Model. Trent Shepard has gone to the lead. Thomas Sunis is now second. Heilman moves to third, and Craig moves to fourth. Model back to fifth. Dylan Copeland drops back to sixth as these guys trying to regroup and get back into a transfer spot. Up front, though, Trent Shepard has taken the lead, and he is lagging up a storm right now. Not a good sign to see out of him. Not a good sign for Thomas Sunis, who really can't see him, and at any point, Shepard would appear in front of him and take it out. Oh my goodness, Thomas Sunis was just riding the nose right there. Somehow stayed on two wheels as he comes across the track, but he did lose a couple positions. He's going to go back to fourth now as Heilman and Craig both got by. Copeland and Model side by side back here in fifth, trying to get up and go after him. Oh, that's Heilman that was down. John Heilman has hit the deck. He was in a transfer spot, and now he's outside looking in. Dylan Copeland to the final transfer spot with Matt Model hot on his heels. Can Model do something about it with just a couple laps remaining in this LCQ? Triple single across the start line. Land, and then you kind of scrub this double into this turn, and we've seen some guys taking advantage of going inside in the flat part of the corner, particularly Alexis Leclerc in that second 450 heat race. Nobody in this 250 division electing to do that, just kind of jumping into the berm and carrying momentum, as Copeland has now established a small gap on Matt Model, and in his own right going after Thomas Sunis for the 3 spot. On-off triple on, and off-out as well. Thomas Sunis just up the road. Copeland trying to run it down on him. Matt Model really the only guy within striking distance at this point of anybody in this top 4. Ethan Parks back here in the 6th spot, maybe just a little bit too far back at this point. But he does have a couple laps to work with. White flag is not coming out just yet, and it will just barely not come out. They're going to be about 15 seconds shy of the cutoff. So 2 to go this time by. As Shepard continues to lead. Tyson Craig, though, closing up the gap from behind on the rival decal 144. Getting this rhythm section clean. Let's go on board with him here. Actually take a look at his perspective as he enters the whoops. Oh, a little out of shape for the leader. Trent Shepard out front. Got a little off kilter in the hoop-de-doos. And this time by there, coming to that white flag. Can Tyson Craig close up on Trent Shepard and make a late pass? Thomas Sunis trying to hold on in 3rd. Copeland in 4th. Model has been dropped a little bit here in 5th. Ethan Parks is still 6th. 7th for Heilman. 8th for Magnetti. So some of these guys are heading home early unless something dramatic happens on this last lap, which they always can happen. These last chance qualifiers full of drama all year long, but right now, bit of a snoozer in this one. We do have a rider down. It is not for position, though. That was not a rider down for position. Oh, but Trent Shepard went down. Coughs up the lead to Tyson Craig. He's facing the wrong way as Model comes to the corner, and Shepard's going to have an awful drive through the whoops, but he corrals it together. Masterfully done. Matt Model could have had his opportunity right there, but he slid out just as the opportunity has presented itself. And instead, all these guys get away out front with Tyson Craig coming down to the checkered flag. This time by trying to win the LCQ with a little wheelie across the start straight. And it will be Tyson Craig picking up the win in the last chance qualifier. Thomas Sunis ends up 2nd, Copeland 3rd, and Shepard in and out of the final corner ends up in 4th. Matt Model falls up just short in 5th. Ethan Parks comes across in 6th. Luke Magnetti back here in 7th. John Heilman 8th. Sam Hawes, who we saw rip a whole shot or kind of rip a early race lead in his heat race earlier on. He's going through, or going to the semi, or the bed, or whatever you want to call it. Lewis Williams, Kyler Hockey, Kyle Carter, Dylan Burrell, Matteo Chiani, Wade Finley, James Ohashi, having a bit of a takeout war with Nate Tunnell. Wow, he just punted him to the ground. So no love lost going on back here. Definitely some frustrations being thrown around between the C4 Designs Co. 174 and the non-team associated number 141, although it looks like an MV Films bike of Nate Tunnell. Although maybe they're just playing around. It looks like they're both flipping and kind of screwing around. So anyway, Saulnier, he'll end up 18th in this one. Cale Braden, Darius Peterson, Seth Garrett, and my janky self in warm-up, not going through to the main event tonight. Cuts are in. Let's take a look. Shepard Copeland, Tomasunas, Craig stay in the same spots, and they're headed to the main event tonight in Foxborough for round 8 of the 250 East Championship. Of course, round 9 will be the showdown in Salt Lake City a couple weeks' time. And we hope to see you guys there as well. Las Vegas coming up next week. That's going to be a Triple Crown event, the last Triple Crown of the year. And with the Last Chance Qualifiers now done again, if you guys have any questions you would like to ask in chat, go ahead and do so now. I'll try to read them as we are in transition. Happy to answer them for you as we wait for the 450 Last Chance Qualifier to come up, and I'm going to try to wheelie down the start straight and loop out, drag some rear fender in the process. It's interesting, I haven't seen anybody in this first rhythm section go with the option line that I thought some people might do, which is over the table, and I'm going to screw it up with it. You can triple, you can quad into this corner right here too. There's not really a decent way to do that, I guess, but there's a couple different options in that first rhythm section. All right, let's take a look at what we got in chat right now. What bike setup does my team ride? I mean, everybody has different settings. The settings I run are probably nowhere similar to what my team runs. If you're asking about what we ride, I think Jeremy's Honda, and then we have some FXR gear, a Bell helmet, Alpine Star boots, I think 100% goggles, stuff like that. First step, controller setup. Second step, non-arcade mode. Yep. Fastest riders in MX Sim history. Tyson Fresquez, Alexis Leclerc, Jesse Mullins, Brian Haskell. Simon Linko is a name that comes up often about fastest in history. Jaden Yuki. Jack Haley, Hunter Root. Those guys are all fast. Austin Jones was fast in his days. You go to Europe, you have Valtteri Tiainen, Dennis Fjellberg. Yeah, those are a long list of people that are really fast in this game. How did I do in my first pro race? I'm guessing. Oh, yeah, Sam Haas. That was great to see you out front early on, bud. Bummer that it didn't happen in the LCQ, but good to see you out there. Who's my favorite 450 and 250 rider? I don't really have favorite riders anymore. My favorite rider retired a couple years back, so don't really have favorites, to be honest. What bike do I ride in real life? I have a 2002 CR250 that I rebuilt. In fact, might as well. It's around downtime. I can pull up a picture of it real quick. There we are. There's my bike. Look at that crispy pipe. So nice. All right, let me get reloaded back into the server for these Last Chance Qualifiers to wrap up. Yeah, arcade is a setting you got to turn on sim physics to play the game like fully properly. What do you think who do I think is going to win the season IRL? Well, I have no idea when the season is going to start again, so I'll have to wait and see what races we actually run before I can make that definitive answer. All right, 450 Last Chance Qualifier lined up, ready to go. 4 go through, 5 minutes plus a lap. Who's going to get that whole shot in this one as we're off and running? Ooh, a couple wheelies down the start straight. 46 of Gebhardt. Of course he's going to get to the corner first. He's so good at starts, and he will get another one here as he gets the whole shot. Jeremy Cohenauer on the 13's right behind him. Braden Carter on the 32. I see Dennis Fjellberg on the 3 in the mix as well. Everybody getting the rhythm section dialed in that first one. I can't believe how many guys just made it through clean. Look at how close everybody is in the whoop still. There's 2 corners into the race. I thought for sure somebody would have been down by now, and I'm sure it's about to start happening. Yeah, someone's going off the track. We got the 412 going down. Fjellberg just crashed on the 3. Everybody's getting tossed. We got Gebhardt out front, Carter second, Cohenauer third, and Zoe Cross is up in 4th right now. Look at that scrub across the start straight. Beautiful stuff from Zoe Cross. Thomas Wilcox right behind him in 5th. Kyle Carpenter, Dalton Plessinger. Oh! Wow, Dalton Plessinger went for the kill on one of those 2 guys. I'm not sure if he was going after Carpenter or if he was trying to get Wilcox onto the ground. Either way, hit both of them and took out Carpenter and cost himself a lot of positions. Very interesting to see what that was all about, but we're not going to get some replays of that. Ooh, so across a little long right there. Has to check up, and here comes Wilcox trying to get a drive down the inside of the whoops. Not going to do it. Little 4-rider train out front. Kind of a 2 and then 4 group in the front 6, I would say. It's not a full-blown 6-rider train just yet, but it's close. Cohenauer, Gebhardt almost crossing over on Carter. Cohenauer's in 3rd, Cross in 4th, and then Wilcox back here in 5th with Jake Rose right behind him in 6th. Only 4 go through out of this one. 5 minutes and a lap, or 2 minutes in. Ooh, Wilcox showing a wheel there to Zoe Cross, and then cases the triple. Didn't get the same drive that he wanted by cutting low in that berm. Stepping on, stepping off. Jake Rose trying to find a move on Wilcox. Wilcox trying to level himself out, humping the bike midair. And into the whoops we go once again. Oh, big crash in the background. Rose goes down, so he's now out of this battle. Puts Wilcox really as the closest challenger to get into that final transfer spot. Ooh, jumps off the track a little bit right there. That is not going to work out very well for him, although he jumps back on nicely. And Cohenauer and Cross able to establish a small gap here. So it's Carter out front. Gebhardt in 2nd, Cohenauer 3rd, Cross 4th, and Wilcox in 5th. So Ken Wilcox, with 2 minutes and a lap left to go in this thing, close it down with raw speed, or is he going to have to hope for something dramatic to happen with our lead 4? A crash, a big mistake, something, and Wilcox would just like to squeak right into this thing without having to go through too much trouble. Big mistake there for Cross, kind of swapping back and forth in front of him, and then Wilcox jumping into the top blocks, but saves it. Again, some of these top blocks coming across the start straight are non-collision tough blocks because they're sequence files. You can't have shape files that move. Well, I guess now you can, but these ones are not. So they're sequence files, so you can ride right through them and they won't bother you. But that's not every single one. It's basically on either side of the start straight are collision files on the tough blocks, but then in the middle of the start straight, those ones do not have collision files on them. So just a little tidbit there. We lost somebody. Gebhardt was down, didn't see him. He's dropped back to 5th now. So Gebhardt, who was in a good position there up front, coughs it up, and Wilcox did indeed get that gift that he was looking for. These 450 guys really good at being consistent, especially when they're in a position where not a lot of pressure. Of course, there's a lot of pressure to be in 4th in a last chance qualifier, but right now, nobody really close to Wilcox to make him feel like that there's a lot of pressure on him. Instead, though, he is applying the pressure to Zoe Cross, and I thought he was going to think of a move right there. Let's see if he cuts back underneath. Just can't quite get the drive down on corner exit there. Down the inside. Oh, he puts Cross down, and then he goes down by himself. So instant karma going for the pass there. Cross rides over him, and Gebhardt, jumping the triple behind, moves back into 4th. Interesting tactic there from Wilcox. Not necessary to make that move. It was really just a safety move to get himself into third because he was in a transfer spot, but he went for it anyway and pays the price. He tried to make the pass, got a little squirrely on exit, didn't get the double clean even, much less the triple, and ends up going down in transition there. So he lost the transfer spot now to Jacob Hubbard, who has moved into fourth. Zoe Cross gets back up in third, and Wilcox has got to regroup and try to figure out how to make his way into that final transfer spot, as the white flag should be waving, and it is right now for our race leaders out front. Couple turns to go. Wilcox over the wall. And final lap. Can he make anything happen, or will either of these two gentlemen have a mistake of their own in them? If it's going to be anywhere, it's likely to be in the whoop section. The whoop section has been hazardous tonight, and we just saw a lap ago Zoe Cross get a little out of shape in those whoops, I should say. So let's see, can they make it through clean this time? Out of the corner, Cross just trying to set it up straight, bouncing his way through as Fjellberg goes down the background, and Hubbard does actually make a mistake. He's sideways. It allows Wilcox through. Wilcox is now into the final transfer spot, and Hubbard has to go full send mode to try to make something happen. Can he get there again, or is it going to be Wilcox's to lose as out front Carter takes the LCQ win, and Wilcox trying to hang on for a couple more turns here. He's defending these inside lines. Let's see, can Hubbard do anything? Wilcox might just go to the inside to defend here. Final turn. Oh, huge takeout. Hubbard just goes in for the send and takes Wilcox down. Is anybody going to go through? Someone's coming. Someone's coming. And there they go. It's Fjellberg. Fjellberg into the main event with a huge takeout in the last turn. Jacob Hubbard goes for the kill on Wilcox and takes them both out of transfer spot. Unbelievable. Fjellberg going to the main event. Tentatively, though, we'll have to wait for cuts. It was only 1.56 over the line. Zoe Cross is in, Jeremy Cohenauer is in, and Braden Carter is in pretty much definitively, but we'll wait for cuts on this one. That was incredible in the last turn. Fjellberg to the main event. We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure chat is ridiculous. Yep, I'm sure that's crazy. All right, so there we go. Cuts are in. Doesn't change. In fact, nope, doesn't change at all. Top four stayed the same, and behind them stayed the same as well. Wow, 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 wow. What a change of events right there in that last turn. Woo! Told you, man, these last chance qualifiers, they get good in a hurry. And when you have two guys who are, I guess, in the same zip code coming into the last turn, because that was a pretty deep send from Hubbard. It wasn't like he was right on him. It was close, but man, oh man. Just from downtown, Jim Brown just punts him off the track, causes himself to go down. I mean, really the only hope that you have right there is that you hit him and you yourself either just tip over or stay up yourself, because there was no chance he was making that turn without the contact. He was going straight over the berm. But, wow. To be fair, though, I thought for sure Wilcox would defend the inside there. He had enough room behind him that he could do it, and if Hubbard cuts the track to take Wilcox out, that's illegal, and of course Wilcox would still get the spot. But in this scenario, I don't think Wilcox is going to get the spot. I think that that's kind of just how it goes when you leave the door wide open in the last turn. Whew. Holy smokes. So, that's the entertainment you get when you watch these last chance qualifiers, people. All right, so now you're fully hyped for racing. Main event time coming up here, 250 East coming up first. And a reminder how close this championship battle is. It is Colby Eagland out front in the standings on 137. Behind him is his defending champion teammate Isaiah Dickerson on 135. 2 points in it out front. But hold on, there's more. Behind that on 132 is Logan Leitzel. I'm sorry, Dominic Tiberino, Logan Leitzel's in 4th. Dominic Tiberino on 132, so he's only 5 points out of it. And then Logan Leitzel, 12 points off the lead on 125 points, sits in 4th. So 4 riders within 12 points in this 250 East region, and all of them really trying to take advantage of this last race before another East-West showdown comes up at Salt Lake in 2 weeks' time to maybe get some well and truly valuable points towards this championship here tonight. So a lot at stake right now for these guys. We're going to find out exactly how well they're able to accomplish this right about now as we get going in this 250 main event from Foxborough. Thomas Carling drops by. He gives a $2 donation, says, Hubbard didn't even try to turn left for the corner. Oh, man. I mean, it's kind of true. He just really went straight into the side of him. But as I said, that is the risk you run when you leave the door wide open in the last turn of a last chance qualifier. I myself have had that happen to me before because I was stupid enough to leave the door wide open. So from that perspective, I can understand what Hubbard was trying to do. I do feel a little bad because Wilcox was kind of just a sitting duck. But got to defend a position sometimes or else you'll get the horns. All right, so my whole shot pick really quick. Try to make a quick one here. I'm going Dominic Tiberino whole shot here tonight, and of course, whoever rips the whole shot here in this main event will be $5 richer, courtesy of ATE Studios. Alex Efforts behind the plan there. So we'll see as the 8th round of the series in the 250 East region is ready to go. Let's drop the gate in Foxborough. Great jump, Dickerson in the middle. He's going to control everybody to the corner, and he gets to the corner first. Eaglin down the inside might have a shot at the whole shot, but it's Isaiah Dickerson, $5 richer as he picks up the RaceFactorGaming.com whole shot award, and right behind him is Eagland on the 24, his championship leading teammate. Tiberino's going to settle into 3rd, and it looks like that's Leitzel moving into 4th. This is exactly what we wanted. All 4 championship combatants, 1 through 4. Leitzel down at the end of the whoops. That's going to cost him a lot of time and a potential championship going down the drain for Leitzel as he's watching his championship combatants run away out front. 1, 2, 3 in the championship. 1, 2, 3 on your screen here in Foxborough. Lap number 1 coming down to the end here to complete this lap. Dickerson leads him through. By the way, you guys bringing Ralph or Ricky in the booth. Ralph, actually, I've talked to him about sim broadcasting. He hasn't really been very responsive of it. Weege, I've definitely brought up to him because he's my coworker now, and he has said that he's actually kind of scared to do it because he doesn't know anything about the series. So he would have to do a lot of research to get to know who these riders are and what the game is about. But I have told him if he's ever staying at my house, like he's stayed at my house before, but if he stays at my house again and happens to be here during a race week, that he definitely has to sit in on the booth. So I'll get him in the booth eventually, but just getting you guys an update on that. But Dickerson out front, Eaglin in 2nd, Tiberino in 3rd, and Tiberino looks like he's actually catching Eaglin just a little bit, ever so slightly here. About a second down, 56.1, 56 flat Eaglin, and 55.3 Dickerson. So a quick check of the lap times. One lap in the books. Tiberino through the whoops, losing ground ever so slightly to Eagland. This front 3 has opened up a gap a bit now. Owen Hillman sits back here in 4th. It's 5th for Billy Kunitz. 6th, Dylan Copeland. 7th for Zaka. 8th, Tyson Craig. 9th, Fitzpatrick. 10th, Jonathan Alexander. And right now, 11th, Logan Leitzel on the Mad Cape, number 18. Not a good position for him, especially when he started the race in 4th, and now he's down again. Logan Leitzel watching this championship slip away after being in such a good position at one point in this season. Had to miss a main event, not going through that last chance qualifier, and definitely was disappointed from that one, but still was in it tonight with a shot at the championship. He might be kissing that championship goodbye. In fact, he might be mathematically eliminated here tonight if he doesn't get himself a little bit regrouped here, as up ahead of him, Cooper Hunt side by side with Tyron Tomich. And they're squaring off with each other a little bit here. Ooh, on-off triple, and then triple on here. Those guys in the 250 class maybe struggling a little bit more with the off compared to the 450 guys that have a little bit more of that power to get them over the hump. Had a rider down. That was for Zaka. That's going to cost him some spots. Fitzpatrick was getting up as well, it looks like. And here comes Alexander with 51. Chase Donovan coming down the inside as well. Look at all these guys. Close racing right now. This is basically 6 through 10 as Zaka shoots down the inside of Donovan, gets back by him. You can see William St. Laurent on the 86 now getting into the mix. He cuts underneath Donovan. Donovan squares back underneath of him, holds the position. For Zaka, Alexander, Fitzpatrick. Up the road is Tyson Craig, Dylan Copeland, Billy Kunitz. And we also have Tiberino, who's been passed by Owen Hillman. So Owen Hillman charging to the front right now, moves up into third around Tiberino. That is not going to make the 77 happy at all to see more championship points slipping away. Colby Eaglin is losing touch. Dickerson out front has been flawless thus far. Of course, we will definitely have the issue of lap traffic come into play at some point during this race. See how far we get in before that becomes an issue, and the track ever changing as well, so some ruts developing, lines getting a little bit deeper. Currently 5 minutes into this 15-minute plus 1 lap main event. Dickerson leads, Eaglin second, and Owen Hillman moves to third. There goes Dickerson, he's down, he tucks the front wheel. Oh, what a bummer for Dickerson, who was looking to pick up a win here and maybe steal 3 points from his championship leading teammate, but it's Colby Eaglin back to the front. Owen Hillman moves up into second, and right behind him is Tiberino in third. Two of these riders have never won this main event before, or won a main event, I should say, in this 250 East region or any 250 main event before in Race Factor Gaming competition. So this would be huge, not only for Owen Hillman if he could try to pull this off for his own personal benefit, but for the sake of Dominic Tiberino to win this championship-wise, suddenly right back in it with 1 round to go, maybe even has the points lead if he can click a win off here. Only 5 points down of championship leader Colby Eaglin. 4 seconds down in the race. He's got to worry about bigger problems, though, coming behind him. Isaiah Dickerson closing this thing down. Hillman, Tiberino, Dickerson. I think that's Kunitz just off the back out of screen momentarily there. So Eaglin looking at a really good points haul right here as Kyle Miller updates us in chat that Eaglin would be the points leader. Dickerson 9 back, Tiberino 11 back with a round to go in Salt Lake. Oh, Tiberino tucks the front wheel. That's going to cost him more positions. Let's see, does Kunitz get him as well in the 63? He does. Tiberino tries to square off, but he's not going to get him back. And Dickerson goes back into the 3 spot. Hillman just up the road, still sitting a strong second. Colby Eaglin out front leading this thing as we approach the halfway point. Wisely looks up the road just a small bit there and sees Nick Tomasunis down on the inside trying to get off the racetrack, so he tucks to the outside line to avoid him. Tomasunis kind of a sitting duck here, just letting people go at this point. Hillman goes through. It's unfortunate how this works sometimes when you become that first lapped rider. It's just a freight train going through and you just don't really ever get a chance to get back into a good position. Isaiah Dickerson, as we said, back up into third, but now fourth is Dominic Tiberino. So he's worked his way back around Kunitz at some point this last time by, I should say. Tiberino can see Dickerson still. Got that carrot dangling in front of him. Just needs really anything. By the way, we've lost Owen Hillman. Owen Hillman has gone down somewhere. That moves Dickerson back up to second and Tiberino in third. So as they entered in this championship, 1, 2, 3 in the championship are now 1, 2, and 3 on the racetrack, but Tiberino's trying to change that. Pulls up alongside Dickerson. Can't quite get the angle to make the move just yet, but he's definitely right on him now as they're both 6 seconds down to the leader. Colby Eagland past the halfway point as these guys trying to get as many points off of each other as they can, but the real end goal would be to track down championship leader Colby Eagland. Let's go on board with Tiberino. Take a look at Dickerson just up the road from him. A lot of good racing through this pack right now, but this championship fight is so good, and it's probably only going to get better here with just a little time remaining in this race. Just over 5 minutes. Dickerson was really out of shape in the whoops, and Tiberino tucks the front end right there. Tiberino losing more and more ground as Tyson Craig's starting to close up on the 144 rival decal ride. Really strong showing here for Craig, who had to come, remember, through that last-chance qualifier. Behind him, Billy Kunitz sits inside of the top 5. For Zaka, runs 6th. Hillman, who was in 2nd, drops back to 7th. 8th for Neil Fitzpatrick right now. 9th for Dakota French. And 10th for Dylan Copeland. Here is Logan Leitzel. 12 points down entering tonight. I believe as we run, he would be mathematically eliminated in 11th. He'd pick up 12 points. He'd lose 14 points. And since he and Eagland have the same amount of victories, if Eagland wins this race, yeah, I think that eliminates Leitzel from the championship with an Eagland victory here tonight. And Leitzel staying here in the 11th spot. We'll have to see how it plays out, though. Of course, a lot of racing still left. Just wanted to go back through the field and see where everybody's at. As Copeland makes a move on Dakota French and tries to shut the door. French just launches down the inside and gets it back, and then Copeland trying to tuck back up under the inside, coughs up a position to Logan Leitzel. So Leitzel will say, thank you very much. I will take advantage of that and move up another position, gaining some more points. Down the inside of Dakota French goes Logan Leitzel, and another position gain for the number 18 ride. Oh, he's short there, and French gets him back. So Leitzel, one step forward, one step back right there. Doesn't want to make a bigger mistake, and oh, there it is. It costs him now. Down he goes. He's going to lose more spots again. And definitely at this point, it looks like Leitzel is watching that championship slip away. Back up front, Dickerson's got the gap down to 4 seconds with about 4 minutes and a lap left to go. 54.9 to a 55.4 last time by, so he's catching him. Maybe not catching him fast enough, but remember, lap traffic coming into play eventually here. Actually, looking at the map right now, Eagland has got a big gap to work with right now, and only a few smattering of lappers until the next big group about 4 corners away from him. So that is going to be a huge help for Eagland's sake, not to have to deal with immediate lap traffic problems. Dickerson, of course, not going to mind that one bit. He's just going to send it and hope he can make up as much time as possible. Tiberino back here is 6 seconds behind Isaiah Dickerson now. Still in third, still in a position where he's going to save his championship hopes. But for the time being, he's kind of watching it slip away a little bit. He'd be 10 points down as we run. And that would be 10 points down of Eagland. So I think almost for his sake, he's hoping Dickerson can run down Eagland and just steal some points from him. So at least Tiberino's within a couple points closer. Triple on off for Dickerson. Clipping that little last off right there. Oh, so close. Like I said, Eagland, not an immediate threat just yet of hitting lap traffic, but it almost looks like he's setting himself up to hit traffic at the wrong time as we're coming to just a couple minutes and a lap to go. And the lap traffic is about 1 straightaways distance ahead of Eagland right now. and they're going to be battling with each other and slowing their pace back to him, perhaps crashing back to him, and then he'd be mixed in with those guys with those final couple laps coming. Definitely not a situation he would love to be in. Just would love to get by those guys as fast as possible. He's got to get back through to Thomas Sunis first, it looks like here, or perhaps that's Donovan. It is Donovan on the 51, lets him through very nicely. And Eaglin just trying to stay as smooth as possible out front. Not let it come into his mind, not let him think about it. That if he could win this, he would leave here with a 5-point lead in the championship with 1 round left to go. Although that 1 round left after this is a showdown round, and we know anything can happen at those showdown rounds. Nothing is a foregone conclusion that a 5-point gap is a guaranteed victory of any kind. And I'll tell you what, folks, Dickerson is starting to claw this thing pretty dang close. 2.6 seconds down to 2.2 as he hits the wall jump. Using that inside line. Let's see what lap times look like this time by. 55 flat to a 56 flat. Took a whole second out of him last time by. A minute and a lap left to go. So if they run the same pace another lap, they will not get to the stand before... I'm sorry, they will get to the stand before time expires. And Dickerson with a amazing ride to try to catch his teammate out front. And again, not a lot of lap traffic to speak of. At least not for the time being. Incredible race going on a little further back, but this battle for the lead is shaping up. Let's actually go back and see what's going on back there. So it is Billy Kunitz in 4th, for Zaka 5th, Dakota French in 6th, 7th for Copeland, 8th Craig, and 9th Owen Hillman cutting the track. Look at how close these guys all still are. Dakota French makes a mistake. There goes Copeland on by. For Zaka makes a mistake, and Copeland's going to close up on him as well. So close action right there. Oh, Dickerson off the track after the finish line jump. So it is 2 laps to go. They didn't clip the time just yet. Time has now expired, but the green flag is still out, which means white flag has yet to wave. So Colby Eaglin trying to regroup and get back away from Dickerson. 1.7 seconds is the gap. Dickerson so strong through the whoops, and then uses this inside line that cost him the lead earlier to get it down to within a second as we're coming down a few turns before the white flag is waving. Can Dickerson pull this thing off? My, oh my, would that be a victory if he could do this. Look at this, down the inside. Just trying to show Eaglin to wheel, but he is all over him now. Almost nothing in it as white flag coming out this time by. Battle for the win in Foxborough. 1 lap in it. Teammates trying to decide who will hold the red plate at the final round in Salt Lake City. It's either going to be a 5-point lead for Eaglin or a 1-point lead for Dickerson, depending on where they cross the finish line in a lap's time. Who is going to take it? Right now, Eaglin looks like he's responded fairly well to the attack. But Dickerson throwing everything at him, scrubbing every jump, attacking each section, getting great drives in the whoops. And this is where he gets it. Oh, but Eaglin responds and goes down the inside to block. What is Dickerson going to do? Is he going to size him up anywhere? Maybe that inside line on the wall jump, which Eaglin has not been using to defend. Down the inside he goes. He's going to double to the inside. Eaglin does go to defend, and he takes his teammate down. Dickerson goes down on a little cross jump action from Eaglin with 2 turns to go, and with 1 turn to go, Colby Eaglin takes the win tonight in Foxborough. Dickerson is going to have to settle for second, and he now goes into the final round of the championship, 5 points down of his teammate. Tiberino will settle in 3rd. So 1, 2, 3 in the championship goes 1, 2, 3 in the main event. And there's now 10 points in it between them to decide the title in 2 weeks' time in Salt Lake City. Kunitz, he's going to have a solid ride put together here that's going to end him up in 4th. 5th spot goes to Zaka here with a great ride again. Sorry we didn't get the chance to see these battles, but a really, really good battle up front. Copeland ends up 6th, 7th Tyson Craig, 8th Dakota French, 9th goes to Owen Hillman, and rounding out the top 10 is Tyron Telmich with a nice whip, but with a finish line jump. Neil Fitzpatrick comes across the line 11th and 12th, and now looks like mathematically eliminated from the championship with that Eaglin victory is going to be Logan Leitzel, and he is definitely frustrated with that one. He thought he might have a shot at it tonight, and it just didn't work out as he backs over the finish line. Jump cuts are in. Let's see if anything changed in that lead trio. It did not. Everything stayed the same. Only change was Tyson Craig got a spot on Dylan Copeland. He moves to 6th, and the top 10 stayed the same after that as we funnel through the rest of the runners here tonight in the main event. Jonathan Hughes, looks like he was the only official DNF on the night. Nick Tomasunis was lapped early, ends up 21st. And Colby Eagland picks up yet another win, extending his points lead to 5 with 1 round to go. Thank you, Scooty Puff Jr. Love you, buddy. Hope the marbles are good tonight. I think you're doing marbs. Everybody head over to Scooty on twitch.tv/Scooty_Puff_Jr. to get involved in the Marble Racing League after this. I think he gets started around 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. What time is it right now? Yeah, it seems about right. Boy, oh boy. What a race, though. I'm curious to know what Dickerson feels inside right now. I mean, I wish we could talk to him, but yeah, getting cross-jumped there with 2 turns to go. It's the move that needed to happen. I get what Eagland needed to do there, but still, got to be frustrating from Dickerson's perspective that till that point he was just trying to get his teammate cleanly. He was even setting himself up for an inside move that he wasn't going to light him up with. It was just a sharp inside turn there, and Eagland with the little maneuver to try to block the inside ends up in his line and takes him down. But yeah, interesting to see if that ends up being a championship deciding move if they finish close together next week, whether or not that could have changed anything. Whew. All right, well, hopefully you guys are enjoying that one. Treated to a great great race here. Excuse me. Damn near losing my voice out here from how good that race was. Oops. Excuse me 1 second. All right, I'm back. All right. If you guys thought that was good, I think this 450 race might even be a little bit more special because there's about 4 or 5 different guys that really have a shot at winning here tonight. And one of them hasn't even won a race this season yet. Jack Haley, in his title defense this year, has been winless so far. As he looks to hopefully pin his name into the winner's circle here tonight. I see you guys talking about press conferences. I mean, I would love to do press conferences. Getting all of these guys in one spot is like impossible. Like if I told everybody, hey, as soon as the racing is over, jump into my Discord and we'll interview you, most wouldn't do it, I promise. Like we've tried stuff like that before and most don't do it. And then if we were like, oh, mandated press conferences after the races that we like filmed or streamed or whatever, yeah, still most wouldn't do it. Like it's just, I agree with you. I wish it was like a, hey, come in here, and they would definitely come in. But I mean, like right now, I feel like someone like Isaiah Dickerson would not show up, and I can't force him to do it. It's not like it's in his contract. He doesn't have a contract or anything. So, again, would love to do it, but it's pretty difficult to kind of coordinate everything. All right, folks, time to go racing here in Foxborough. So much on the line with these guys. Who is going to win tonight in Foxborough? It's the 15th round of the season underway as we're off and running in the 450 main event. Great start, Bryce Whelan. Going down as Walter Gebhardt, and going down as Jack Haley. Down into the first turn as they collided with Leclerc, and then Whelan gets spit around back there. It's Zoe Cross with the RaceFactorGaming.com Whole Shot Award, and Leclerc already tries to come in for the kill, gives him a nudge, and goes down himself. As it's Cross, Carter, Devin Davis, Hunter Root, Tyler Lang all up front. Leclerc is in the mix. Adam Holmes got a good start. Where is Jeremy Siebel? Where is Jack Haley? Colton Mitchell is in a really good spot comparatively up front, as we don't see really any of the other championship contenders near the sharp end of the field right now. We saw Jack Haley going down on the corner into the first corner. Siebel 14th. Crossing the line, lap number 1, Siebel 14th. Haley 17th, so we need another classic Jack Haley charge here to make things a little bit more interesting. That was a lot of contact going to that first corner. A lot of guys getting spit around. Bryce Whelan, who almost grabbed the whole shot, ends up 21st after one lap. Meanwhile, as we go back up front, Zoe Cross is being pressured by the champ on the West Division, and it's Carter to the lead. Braden Carter, your now 250 West Region champion, out front. On the JDR number 32, Devin Davis has moved into second. He's in front of Leclerc with Tyler Lang right there. Hunter Root just off the back of them. Leclerc peeking down the inside of Davis. Davis crosses over. Now Leclerc tries to drive down the inside to make the block pass, and he does. Devin Davis just lets him go. Wants no part of that business. So Leclerc gets away scot-free from that, as Lang and Root both trying to find ways around. Mitchell also in the mix back there. Remember, we saw Gebhardt going down, coming halfway down the start straight. I mean, he wasn't even to the corner yet, and Gebhardt was already going down. And Gebhardt has won the last 3 races in a row. So it's curious to see how he ends up faring tonight as Leclerc pulls away from Davis in the whoops. Tyler Lang trying to get a drive. We got Hunter Root swinging to the outside there. And he might get a drive to get Lang into the next corner here. Let's see if he gets to the inside. And he does. Devin Davis into the Davalos bales also coughs up a position. That puts Root up to 3rd. Lang 4th. And, oh, leader down. Braden Carter was gone down. It's Leclerc to the front in Foxborough. Behind him, Hunter Root trying to move into second on Tyler Lang and make it stick. And he does. Lang trying to counter back underneath. But Root holds the lead as Carter has coughed it up. Only 3 laps down, and a lot of chaos has already happened. Colt Mitchell in a great position here. 23 points down in the championship with 3 rounds left to go. Is by far in a much better position than any of his championship rivals are right now. And boy, oh boy, could this be a big points night for the 6, with Siebel down in 12th, Haley down in 14th, the 2 men he's chasing in this championship. And now, down the inside goes Mitchell to move up in to 3rd spot. 3rd spot for Mitchell, and Lang a mistake cost him a spot here. As around him goes Ash Deering, Devin Davis trying to make the move, but Lang gets going. And how about it? Walter Gebhardt, what a great recovery. Finds himself in 7th early on as he's right behind Devin Davis into the wall jump. So Gebhardt laying down 54-second lap times as the leader Leclerc continues to try to sneak away from everybody. Gebhardt trying to go for his 4th consecutive win, and at the very slimmest of margin try to keep his championship hopes alive. He could mathematically be eliminated tonight with a bad result, but as it runs right now, it looks like he's going to keep himself alive another week as he tries to find a way around Devin Davis here as they enter the whoop section. Ooh, Tyler Lang had made a mistake. Oh, Gebhardt's down! He lands on the tough block. Yard sale. There goes Siebel and Haley. They both are in a very similar position of the racetrack right now. Siebel looks like he's moved up into about 11th. Might be going for 10th here on Ritzler. I'm sorry, that's 9th he's going for on Ritzler. And Haley now trying to find his way forward as well. He's back in 11th. And Braden Carter, who was leading this race just a few laps ago, is 14th now. So how quickly things can come unraveled as Leclerc continuing to lead on the number 7 Rockstar Husky machine. Oh, and he's down through the whoops. He crashes at the end of the whoops, and it gives Hunter Root the lead. Colt Mitchell moves to second, but it's Hunter Root out front, who I believe is going to try to pick up his first win since 2017, the 2015 champ. Trying to make a little history tonight. Might be the biggest win gap between wins, or biggest gap between wins in this class. Leclerc might have that actually. Either way, Root now leads this thing here in Foxborough. Colt Mitchell is the bigger one to pay attention to though, as he's in second. And if he can win this thing tonight and close down this championship that much closer, make this thing a real true 3-rider fight down to the stretch with 2 rounds to go, boy, wouldn't that be something. But Hunter Root would love to play spoiler here tonight on the SwapMotoLive.com number 330 machine. Oh, and a mistake from Mitchell actually cost him some time. Allows Ash Deering to close up. Leclerc down again at the end of the whoops. They are really starting to bite him now. Siebel goes through. Ritzler right there, Holm back there, and Haley's actually lost a spot to Holm, so Holm playing teammate here with Siebel. Goes down the inside, takes out Ritzler. Very aggressive block pass, and it costs Holm a position as he actually, well, it really cost him kind of 2 positions because Haley went by. So Haley now moves up into, I think this is 8th? No, 9th for the defending champion. Leclerc just up the road of him trying to go after Siebel. And Leclerc was in chat earlier here tonight explaining how he doesn't really have a dog in this fight. He just is in it to have fun right now. But sometimes as soon as the gate drops and you're holding that controller, you're in the midst of a battle, your mind changes. And I don't know whether or not Leclerc thinks about this stuff, but I'm sure in his actual subconscious he has an idea of who of these front people he would like to win this championship. And he has the speed to rough them up if he so chooses. So a little bit of a wild card to keep in mind there. Siebel trying to weave through people. He's got D Mills in front of him now on the 31 machine. That is Jeremy Cohenauer just up the road as well. Devin Davis getting passed by Alexis Leclerc in the background. So right now Siebel's looking at 4th place just ahead of him in Jeremy Cohenauer. Daniel Mills is in 5th, Siebel in 6th. Leclerc right back there in 7th. Haley's moved up to 9th. Gebhardt still back in 12th. As Mitchell still tries to track down the race lead and take it away from Hunter Root if he can. Through the whoops we go. Once again, Daniel Mills little out of shape, but corrals it together, tucks to the inside. Siebel can't do anything about it just yet, and Leclerc a little out of shape in the background as well. Triple single across the start line. Landing the flat. Daniel Mills putting in a solid ride right now. Oh, a little mistake there from Cohenauer, and it cost him 3 spots actually. Siebel and Leclerc also go by, as did Daniel Mills. Here's Devin Davis, and then Jack Haley coming through. So you can see Haley still is not too far behind Siebel. If Siebel has a mistake, a fall-off crash, something like that, Haley is gaining points on him in the championship just like that. Siebel looks like he's riding very cautiously, though. Not pushing the envelope with Daniel Mills. That could also hurt him. Maybe Mills has a bad run through the whoops, and Siebel can't avoid him, goes down himself. You just never know in this class. So you got to take your chances when you can. And Siebel looked to make a move there, and he does. Down the inside of Daniel Mills. Leclerc's going to try to square off Mills in the next corner, I should say. Jumps down the inside of him, and Mills trying to just jump deep. Goes too deep and jumps into the top of the berm. So now Leclerc running down Siebel, and down was Deering, so they both move up another position. It's still Root and Mitchell out front, but Siebel is already up to 3rd. We're not even yet halfway through this main event. Leclerc giving chase. Trying to move up to 3rd, get around Siebel if he can. Meanwhile, behind all these guys, losing more positions, Haley has gone down again. He's back to 12th. And now Jack Haley is starting to look at the championship slipping away a little bit. I'm sure no one is less happy at the fact that Siebel has moved up to third, then Colt Mitchell, who looked like he was in such a good position to claw some big points away from him tonight, and ends up at this point only gaining 2 in the championship to bring it from 23 down to 21 with 2 rounds to go. Still a monumental gap to try to overcome. But Mitchell doing everything he can to try to win this main event, putting that pressure on Hunter Root out front. Root looks like he had a little bit of a lag spike there. So I'm sure Mitchell just trying to be careful of that. Does not want to go down on Root. Into the whoops we go. 10.5 minutes done. 9.5 minutes and a lap to go. And there's the move. Mitchell to the lead. Colt Mitchell takes the lead in Foxborough. Wouldn't this be something if he can take this win here tonight? He just watched that gap cut down another 3 points to 18 points between himself. I'm sorry, Leclerc has gotten around Siebel. That's another point swaying in the wind there as Leclerc claws another one away from Siebel. So this is a 6-point difference now from Siebel to the leader, which is Colt Mitchell. So 17 points is the gap as Mitchell is looking at it right now. And Mitchell would love to pull away and try to win this thing with ease. Leclerc trying to get away from Siebel. Siebel just trying to tuck into position here. Gebhardt, for his credit, has done a really good job charging forward after a couple early mistakes. Into the whoops behind Deering, so across just up the road at him as well. Ooh, gives a little bump and run there to Ash Deering. Look a little further back. Where is Jack Haley? Here he is. He is in the 11th spot now. And track-wise, he's looking... I mean, it's not that far behind, about third. Could still get third in this race. But of course, third right now is this man. I'm sorry, it's this man, Alexis Leclerc. And then Siebel is in fourth. But Haley is not unreasonably far behind Siebel. As he comes through here, he's about 2 corners behind him, maybe? But really, I think all he cares about is just if something happens to Siebel, he goes down, he starts losing positions, anything to claw points back away from him. And again, it seems like the start has been so crucial here, and Haley getting bunched around there halfway down the start straight really didn't help his cause here tonight. So let's reset things here as we are now 13 minutes into this race. Give you guys a quick Tagger Designs top 10 rundown. It's Colt Mitchell's system decal number 6 out front from Hunter Root on the SwapMotoLive.com, number 330 in second. Third place, Alexis Leclerc on the number 7, Rockstar Husky. Fourth right now is Jeremy Siebel on the Panini Motorsports number 19, red backgrounds. Jeremy Kohenauer runs in 5th on the number 13 MB Films ride with Walter Gebhardt on the number 5 system decal ride right behind him in 6th. 7th goes to Ash Deering on the BPC number 20. 8th for Devin Davis on the Mad Cave number 30. 9th for Tyler Langs on the MB Films number 14. And 10th right now is Adam Holm on the Panini Motorsports number 17. Daniel Mills is up to 11th, 12th for Ritzler, and 13th for Haley. It is coming undone for the defending champion in a hurry. Maybe that pressure of trying to defend this championship is really starting to weigh on him just a little bit too much. Unraveling here quickly. Colton Mitchell's still looking at just a slight lead on Root. It's not big whatsoever as Root comes down through the whoops. And then just a little further in the background, Leclerc now coming down through the whoops, and Siebel entering the whoops behind them. So it's just a kind of evenly spread apart little group here at the front. Maybe, yeah, it looks to be about 3 seconds each between them. Colt Mitchell just probably taking deep breaths, slowing it down a little bit, just letting this race come to him, just putting down the laps, lap after lap. That's all he's got to do. And this win, like I said, would be huge. 17-point gap with 2 rounds to go. I think he would pass Jack Haley in points as they run right now. Siebel, of course, would love a 17-point gap with 2 rounds to go. That's a pretty big cushion. He'd love a 52-point gap with 2 rounds to go, so nobody can get him, but it's a world he's not living in right now. On a route, Leclerc's actually closed up significantly en route here these last couple laps. We got a rider going down in front of him. That's Zoe Cross. And Siebel just basically marking Leclerc in front of him, but he's got to start being a little careful here because not too far behind him is Walter Gebhardt. Let's take a look at lap times. 52.9 to a 53.8. Just lost basically a full second that last lap alone to Gebhardt did. Jeremy Siebel in the 4th spot. So dropping back to 5th, just more points being lost that could help him clinch this championship. With as close as these guys have run for as long as they have, I just have to imagine we're going to see some carnage late here. There's no way these guys have run this smooth for this long. And there it is. There's Gebhardt down just as I speak of it. Blows the front wheel out of the rut too early, jumps across the track and hits his head on a tough block. Instantly falls off the bike. And all that momentum he had gained trying to catch Siebel is now gone. Mitchell checks in again onto lap number 19. Root, Leclerc, Siebel not too far behind him though. And Leclerc has now definitely got Hunter Root in his crosshairs. He's right in front of him. Can the Frenchman make something happen as Jack Haley claws his way back up to 10th now, so he's got some more points in the hand there. Leclerc just eyeing up a maneuver on Hunter Root to get into 2nd. His end goal would be to get to Colt Mitchell, but time is running out here quickly with under 3 minutes and a lap to go. Hunter Root under severe pressure now from Leclerc, who looks like he's been the fastest man on the track for much of the main event, but has been bitten by the crash bug a few times. Getting this rhythm section clean is Leclerc. Where does he think he's got Root lined up at here? Is there some line Leclerc has picked out that he's just a little bit faster, just a little bit stronger than Root? Can maybe make this pass happen quicker rather than later. And this might be it right here. Root makes a small mistake, has to scrub the single back onto the start line. And this is where Leclerc goes inside in this corner, banks off that inside rut, and that's the move right there if he can hold it. Root's trying to beat him to the corner, and Leclerc shuts the door hard to block the inside line, and he picks up 2nd in the process. This is going to be good news for Siebel as down the inside goes Root, and Leclerc has to stand it up at the top of the corner. He triples into the next corner, and Root has to swing around the outside, takes the spot back. Leclerc underneath of him, punts him off the outside, and gets the position back. Great back and forth action, and so far it's been clean. Nothing that has been overly aggressive just yet, but let's see if Root can come back and make something happen here. Siebel now getting into a point where if they get together, he might be in the danger zone as Root pulls alongside Leclerc, shuts the door hard across the start straight. Leclerc gets a bit of his own medicine there as he cuts back underneath in the berm. Siebel right behind him, scrubbing across the start straight. Leclerc's going to try to cut to the inside, but Root has got the line. Well, Leclerc just cuts over anyway. And now Siebel right on these guys. So what has Root got in the bag? Can he go back after Leclerc, or does he try to just defend now and finish 3rd in this race ahead of Siebel? It's definitely given a big lead now to Mitchell, and a small bobble there for Root is losing touch. Losing touch a bit with Leclerc, and he makes another mistake. There goes Siebel on through. And you got Brayden Carter, who's a lap down, getting in the mix. But Siebel finds his way up into third place late in this race. And it's not out of the question he gets second in this thing either. A little further back, where has Jack Haley gotten to? Jack Haley is still in 10th. Might be getting Ash Deering right now as we speak, and he is. He's just moved to 9th. Jack Haley just got to 9th. As I said that, white flag is waving. 1 lap to go out front for Colt Mitchell, who's going to claim a huge win here tonight if he holds on. Leclerc with a valiant effort to come forward and get second. Going to fall short of the victory as it stands right now. And Siebel, a very, very strong performance to just sit stationary, not overreact, and ride the pace in third the entire main event. Went fourth, really, the entire main event, but it's going to gift him third late here with a couple mistakes from Root. That's going to cost him a podium position. As long as Siebel hangs on for a couple more turns, it's going to be all his. I'll tell you what, Leclerc actually got this thing fairly close in the end to Colt Mitchell. But in the end, Colt Mitchell is going to claw this thing a little bit closer in the championship as he comes through the final corner. And your winner tonight in Foxborough is Colt Mitchell on the system decal number 6. Away from Alexis Leclerc second, Jeremy Siebel third, and Hunter Root fourth. How about that? Only about 6 seconds between the top 4 over the line, and about 9 seconds between the top 5 as Gebhardt crosses the line 5th. Tyler Lang looks like he's got 6th locked down, 7th Adam Holm, and Jack Haley will get to 8th here before this is over. And he's going to get as close as he can to Holm and hope for cuts to get him 7th here tonight. So he comes across the line 8th, 9th for Cohenauer, 10th for Daniel Mills, 11th goes to Bryce Whelan, 12th to Ash Deering, 13th for Devin Davis, 14th Sabrina Ritzler, 15th for Dennis Fjellberg, and 16th for Chase Blakely. Cuts her in. Let's see if anything changed up in that front pack. Haley does not get a position, and nothing changes. Colt Mitchell confirmed race winner, Foxborough 2020. Wow, 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 that was a great race. Can't believe how close that came down to it in the end. I mean, like I said, these guys were only, 6 seconds apart at the finish line. Incredible, incredible stuff. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that race as much as I did. That was a freaking blast to call tonight. Both the 250 and 450 main events were absolutely wild. Came down to the very end. That 450 LCQ that led into it was crazy. So, I mean, all around, I think pretty good night of racing, if I had to say so myself. Appreciate 322 of you guys stuck around to watch this through to the very end of it. Hopefully, you guys had a good time watching, kind of taking your mind off things a little bit, and checking out the 15th round of the 2020 MotoOption SX Series here in MX Simulator. Of course, I want to give a big shout out to MotoOption Clothing for their continued support. Guys like Race X Suspension, Tagger Designs, MXS Lobby, Underground RC. I'm sure I'm missing some people. But again, thanks everybody. Always a great time streaming. The support is unreal. It's been unreal all year long. And Foxborough is now done and behind us. We're headed to Vegas next week for the 16th round of the series. It's also a Triple Crown round. So 3 main events each. Of course, we'll have qualifying to determine who makes it in. And then LCQs will start off the night program. The 3 main events each, 250 and 450. We're back 250 West for the penultimate round there. And the penultimate round in the 450 class as well. So a lot of storylines we're still going to follow. But we really hope to see you guys then. And from all of us here at Start Your Systems, we hope you guys enjoyed the 15th round of the MotoOption SX Series here from Foxborough. And we'll see you guys next week in Las Vegas.